Hello, welcome to episode 2 of my Journey to Scratch series. Now if you missed episode 1, I'll link to that in the card above and in the description below. And I'll also pop a little link to the playlist in there, so depending on when you're watching this video, there might be other videos in the series available. Everything, as always, can also be found over on my golf blog at andysgolfblog.co.uk. Now in episode 1, I talked through what you can expect in this Journey to Scratch series. And in this episode, I'm going to tell you more about what I have been working on recently. Now here in Scotland it is December, and to be honest the weather is absolutely miserable. So it is raining, it's windy, it's cold, and that's meant that I've not really been able to play much golf. However, there are 2 things that I have been working on recently which I think are really important to take care of just now at the beginning of this journey. So first of all, I decided that I wanted to have a collection or a library of footage of my golf swing at this moment in time with each of my clubs. Now I've always filmed my golf swing when I've been practicing or out on the golf course, but I've never really put much effort into setting the camera up correctly and making sure that I have some really good footage that I can analyse and compare against. And what I'm wanting to do is in a few months' time, I want to be able to look back at my golf swing and see, hopefully, how much it has improved. So I headed out to the garden, I set a camera up down the line and front on, and wanted to capture some footage of me hitting all of my clubs. However, I quickly realised that it is really important to make sure that the camera is set up in the correct place, both down the line and front on. So what I did is I watched one of the videos from the guys at Me My Golf where Pierce basically takes you through the process of setting the cameras up properly. And I'm going to include that video in this video just now. So if it's something that you're wanting to know more about, or you're maybe not too sure about how to set your camera up for filming your golf swing, then in this video you'll learn how to do it properly. If you're not interested or you already know this, feel free to skip using the timestamps below. But here is Pierce basically taking you through the correct way to set your cameras up to record your golf swing.
All right, let's show you how to video your golf swing. Now this is really important that you get the cameras in the correct place, and where possible, please try and get it on a tripod. When you're holding it or getting somebody to hold it, obviously, it's not going to be that still, it's going to be a bit shaky. So tripod is really helpful in this situation. What we're looking for is we're looking for 2 main views, the down the line view and the front on view. So before we start looking at these, make sure you get your camera phone and put it in slow motion. And then secondly, just lay down a grid on the floor like I've got here. So basically what I've got an alignment stick on the ground running parallel to my target, the target being the yellow flag on the range, and it's also running directly underneath my hands, depending on how tall you are, but it's going to be approximately a golf ball distance away from your toes when you're setting up to the golf ball. And then the second alignment stick, we're actually going to place on the ground at 90 degrees to that target line. So target line and then 90 degrees to that. And that's going to be very much for giving you feedback from that front on view. Now, as far as camera placement is concerned, first thing, ideally, you'll be 4 paces away from the camera lens. Down the line, you'll generally be okay at all driving ranges. The front on view, you may need to get in a little bit closer, and you may need to put it on a 0.5 mode if you've got that on your phone, just so you can see. It might give you that fisheye effect, but it's okay as long as we can get the body in, if that's all you can do because you've got a wall in front of you. So once we've got it 4 paces away in an ideal world on that tripod, what we're looking for is, when you're going for the down the line view, first of all, we're looking to see that this alignment stick on the ground is running straight when it comes to that lens on that camera phone. And you can see that the alignment stick is running straight on that lens. If it's off at an angle, it means you've got the camera phone in the wrong place. So also you'll see the height of the tripod is at hand height. So the camera lens again is hand height, running parallel to the target line. This is what we need in order to see where the club face is accurately, and also to just see where the swing plane is, make sure there's nothing bad happening from there. So I've got the front on set up now, 4 paces away. Again, I've still got the camera at hand height, but now you can see when you're looking through the lens that this alignment stick here, the 90 degree to the target line alignment stick, that is looking perfectly straight.
So as I'm sure you'll agree, that video there is really useful, especially if you're not quite sure how to properly set up your cameras. Now, having set my cameras up using those instructions, I then got to work hitting all of the clubs in my bag. So I basically started with my 60-degree wedge and worked all the way down to my driver. Now, I was conscious that I didn't want to change my swing in any way, so I basically just hit golf balls without a thought and just doing what I normally do in terms of setup and my golf swing. And when I was finished, I then took all of those swing sequences into a video editing tool, synchronized them, and then I broke them down into individual swings, and then basically kept one swing for each club, both down the line and front on. So I now have a library of all of those swings that I can refer back to in a few months' time. I also kept a nice side-by-side for each of the clubs. Now, I'm not going to analyse my swing in this video, but I am going to release a video in the near future where I basically go through what I think I do well and not so well with my golf swing. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button, because I will have that video up in the not too distant future, and you'll be notified when it's released if you have subscribed to the channel. So once I had done that, my attention then turned to gathering some data about my golf swing, because whilst visually I want to be able to compare back, I also want to do a similar thing with my data. And that's where the FlightScope Mevo Gen 2 launch monitor comes in handy, because this allows me to gather data about up to 20 or 21 points to do with my golf swing and my ball striking. So again, I started to hit golf balls with my 60, working through to the driver. I used Titleist Pro V1, same make and model of ball, and didn't do anything different from what I normally do with my golf swing. I hit roughly between 15 and 20 shots with each club, so I did a full gapping for my entire bag. And then what I did is I took the data into the FlightScope dashboard and I removed any outliers. So any shots which went unusually far, like thin shots for example, or any which came up really, really short, or any mishits, I stripped those out and left myself with 10 shots for each club. Now, I didn't pick the best 10 for each club, I just picked 10 fairly normal shots. This then allows me to pull in an average for each club in the bag. And in a future video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use FlightScope's Badger AI tool, which you can basically use if you're a FlightScope user to analyze your data and tell you what you're doing well, what you're not doing so well, and what you should focus on to try and improve. But again, having this data means that in the future, once I hopefully start improving my golf swing and my ball striking, I can actually look back at the data and see just how much I have improved. And what I love about this is I've got that data for every single club in the bag. So whether I want to start working on my wedges, I want to work on a 7-iron, I want to work on my driver, I'll be able to work on it and compare. So the focus really recently has been on gathering the data about where I am at this moment in time and gathering those swing sequences. If you've got any questions or comments or suggestions, please drop them in the comments area below. Make sure you hit the like button and feel free to follow the channel by hitting the subscribe button if you've not done so already. So having collected all of that data, where do we go next? Well, the plan is to start working through Me and My Golf's Pure Your Iron course. And that course is really, really good because it's for both beginners and for intermediate level golfers, or people who are experienced like myself. What I like about that course is it covers all of the basics. So it goes from your grip to your stance to your alignment, takeaway, backswing, downswing, absolutely everything. And it's really nicely structured. So the first part of that course will be working on my grip, which is going to be my focus over the next few weeks. I'm determined to do this properly, so I want to do things slowly, and I assume that fixing the grip at the very beginning is the right thing to do. Now, I actually think my grip is probably not too bad. However, I will be making use of a really helpful little training aid, which is essentially a golf glove with markings on it, and I'll use that to try and ensure that I can develop a neutral grip. So that'll be the focus for the next few weeks, weather permitted. I'll be out there hitting lots and lots of golf balls and making sure that my grip is in the right place before I move on to my setup, takeaway, and other parts of my golf swing. So anyway, that's just a sort of full update on what I've been working on recently and where I'm up to. If you enjoyed that, be sure to hit that like button. Again, drop any comments or questions or suggestions in the comments area below. And if you've not done so already, please do subscribe to my channel so that you can follow along with me on this journey to hopefully becoming a scratch golfer. But anyway, I'll see you in episode 3.